Hello everyone, this is CCG Genesis here. I'm coming to you with my friend's house with the deck profile on the Sacred Princess. I'm going to show you. The back of Lumia, the creator of Hope. I made a black, white, red stone list. We play 4 Magic Stones of Heaven Rift. Not Heaven's Rift. Heaven's Rift.
Got it right. Oh, by the way, this is Guy, and we are in Guy's house.
We are at Guy's house, yes.
We are at Guy's house.
We play 4 Heat Ray. And I'll get to why I play these certain stones later on. Little red stone, best stone in the game. Every deck can play it. Every deck should play it. Self-explanatory. And the Almerius stone, the stone that flips her for 1, gives her and another Resonator flying. Let's talk about a little bit more about Lumia. Her ruler side, her backside, she can tap 3 to gain 300. It does come in handy at some points, especially against aggressive decks. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the Resonator list right now. So for Resonators, we play 3 Pandora, the History of Chanter, Princess of History Chanter. She's not really a 1-drop, but you can play her as a 1-drop. She's basically made to search off Grimm. She goes well with the deck's purpose to buff up all the other Resonators and to just thin out the deck some more. So here we go with the Grimms. Play 4 Grimms. The reason why I play 3 Pandoras is because you don't want to see all 4 Pandoras. Pandoras become dead later in the game if you have all Grimms out already. And as well as you can't get the enter effect, the awakening effect off of Lumia when you bring her out from the remove from play zone. Grimm pumps up every other Resonator by +2/+2, so this becomes a 5/5 when she's out with the Grimm that she searches off. So obviously the best turn 3 play is to have Pandora at most. Here's the other 1-drop I play. The other 1-drop is Joan of Arc. I play 4 of her. Joan of Arc is a Saint, which combos off with another card I'll be showing about later. So she gets a +8/+8 bonus when there's 5 or more Resonators on the field, and when she's sent to the graveyard, she gives you life. So life is very important. Plus, she also gains more attack off the Grimms, so this could become a 16/16 with all 4 Grimms out, which is very devastating for a 1-drop, and my god, it could be very scary. Next off, we have 4 Lumia. I gotta show off that holiday cheer. We have 4 Lumia. She's a very good 2-drop. She's able to banish herself in response to regain life that you've taken that turn, as well as just being a decent beast stick altogether. 2-mana 6/6 is really highly recommended for this game. She's also a human, so she gets bumped. So it also combos with another Resonator I'm going to show off right now. 3 Joan of Arcs, the Awakened Purity. She is the main Resonator of the deck. You don't want to play 4 because you don't want to draw more than. You don't want to draw them all. You only really want to see 1 in hand and maybe 1 in the remove from play. She has the Awakening plus the Awakening Enter effect where you could play a fantasy creature from your hand for an extra light, but there's no fantasy creatures in this deck. You can always play one. I highly recommend you should if you have the ability to. But for this specific deck list, I do not play it. She protects the first damage on humans, not just human Resonator, but humans in general, which is what Lumia is. So she combos very well with Lumia, seeing that you can block with Lumia. She'll take 0 damage, and she's able to take another hit, basically, that same turn. She's also a human/saint, which is also very useful, so she procs her own defense on herself. And for the last Resonator, I'm testing him out right now. Well, her, in this case, is Louis XIV. Louis XIV was a last-minute throw-in. I used to play Fake Dread the Little Red Moon, but I was thinking to myself, wait, this is basically Impure Light and a buff deck. So you get everything +2, +2, plus all the Grimms. It makes a huge army. And then you can also bring her out late game off of Lumia's ability, who we brought back from the Banish.
Before we get into the spell lineup, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about your Resonators?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. I was wondering, since you have Louis as your one of, what makes you not want to try out a fantasy instead, such as Guild de Rais, which is what folks typically throw in with that particular variety of Joan?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. I actually built this deck earlier on, before all the new support came out. I did play Guild de Rais before. Guild de Rais is very strong, but I don't have enough red to one, make it super strong, and two, to keep bringing it back. I only play 4 redstone, and the redstones are really important for this deck. You don't really want to be losing them.
Alright, and I've also noticed, with your Grimm, the Heroic King, you're focusing a lot on the pumps, right?
Yes.
Do you ever actually find yourself in trouble if you ever lose your Grimms?
Not necessarily, because later in the game, I can always bring back Grimms from the remove from play. So I've never really lost without the Grimm. Yeah, it would be helpful. This is why I run a lot of protection cards. But you can't always see them, right?
Yeah. Well, alright, I think that's all the questions I have. You can go on ahead with the spells. Thank you very much.
Alright, so for spells, we're going to go ahead and start with the black spells first. I play 3 Scorns of Dark Alice. This card is very strong in this format, being able to see your opponent's hand. I believe in this format, you're able to take notes on what your opponent's hand is, which is really important. Plus, dropping a Resonator, especially in aggressive decks, is very strong. Like, you're able to take away Lancelots, Snow Whites, Rook Egg, even Cthulhu's. I'd rather just take the Rook Egg away, honestly, than the Cthulhu. That's just me, though. The next black card we play is Spiral of Despair. I only play 2, because later in the game it does become more of a liability than it is helpful. If you open 2 Blackstones, you're golden. This is an amazing turn 2 play. If you open 2 Blackstones, you have nothing else to do, really. Being able to drop 3 cards from your opponent's hand, fantastic. Oh, and in this deck, I was thinking about studying in Pandora of Dark and Pandora of Light because of my stone list. So, making your opponent drop random cards as well when you're in your side game is actually quite useful too. For the next, I play 3 Flames of Outerworld. This card is still insane. Still probably one of the best black cards in this game. Being able to kill Lancelots without them being responsive with rapid growth, or in response to rapid growth, Flames. Flames in general is just a really good card. It even kills Valentina 2.0 if they haven't pumped up the Valentina, because I have seen some points where they don't play any Regalias until they flip her. That's just them being, in my opinion, it's just a sort of bad idea not to just have your Regalias out. There's barely any cards in this game that kill Regalia besides Mirabelle and Hera. And even then, it's only 1 Regalia out of like the 28 you play in your deck. Then I play 2 Schrodinger. I can't really pronounce the name, I'm sorry.
It's Schrodinger.
Schrodinger. I'm actually German, so I'm really sad about this. So I can't pronounce that. But I'm only German through family. Never been in Germany myself. I play this because, 1, it combos with the next card I'm about to show you. 2, it makes Lumia huge. Being able to swing with a 2000 Lumia, pretty important. Lumia is mainly a finisher in this deck. Not really really important. If you're missing damage, you can make Lumia as your final kill potential. And even then, it still produces mana for itself, which is amazing. You can produce black and white and red with it. It's also the most important part. The next card is Fetal Movements of Outer World. This card is legitimately insane for Lumia. Because, one, you're able to get rid of your own discard. And two, you're able to get rid of your opponent's discard, which combos with this. Schrodinger. Yeah! I cannot talk today.
It's quite alright. We forgive you.
It combos very well with the Lumia. And this. Because you get, if you have two of these, and one of them is in your discard, you just play the other one, this goes to your room for play, you can just keep playing it over and over and over again.
So it's a horrifying, painful loop that will never go away.
Like, yes.
Okay. Wow.
And you keep burning your opponent for whatever Resonators. Because when Lumia plays something that's removed from play, it will automatically go back into the discard. Unless otherwise, like Necronomicon, Blazer, those sort of things. And then we play 3 Stoning to Death. The Stoning to Death is mainly there for extra protection. Especially against cards like Lancelot. Mainly just, it's really helpful against aggressive decks when they can't really respond to anything. Against control matchups, it's very less likely that this is ever going to resolve, but it is useful nonetheless. Instantly killing Resonators is a very powerful thing. Then 2, Burn to Cinders. I felt like I wanted to play more Burn to Cinders, but I didn't know what I would want to move from a deck or take out from the deck, really. Burn to Cinders is a very fantastic card. I wouldn't play more than 3. But the fact that it removes a Resonator from play instead of hitting from the graveyard is very important. Especially things against like Rook Egg, Little Mermaid, Tragic Love, Alice Little Scout. If you could target Treasure Account with it, be useful too, but you can't.
That'd be too good. Too good. Yes.
But it helps with the combo for Schrodinger. Because it slowly starts removing more away, and if you remove this from play from Lumia or the Flames of Outer World, you can just keep playing it again. So you don't need more than 2, but I'd probably play more than 2 if anything.
Alright. It almost seems as though with the way Schrodinger is in this deck, it actually seems to put in a lot more work than it does in Dark Alice. We can get into that more after we show your last set of cards there. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. It's okay. You had an idea.
Very good.
We'll talk about that later on. I play 3 Breath of Gods. Breath of God protects things from being targeted by spells and abilities. And if you target a saint like Joan of Arc, you can play it for free. And after that, it draws you a card. Everything in this game resolves fully. Even if, let's say, Joan of Arc magically died, you would still draw a card because it has to still resolve. Which is why I like this over, like, let's say, Protection of Seraph. Because Protection of Seraph would just die if this somehow just magically dies. At least it replaces itself. And it's also recyclable. If you have it in your Banish, you can just target Joan of Arc. If you have Lumia, you just target Joan of Arc for free, and then you get another draw. So that's all for the spell. That's all for the deck profile. I haven't made a side deck for this because this deck was still in testing. But for side deck, I was thinking about in the side deck was playing Pandora Light, Pandora Dark. I could grab my binder and show them.
Absolutely. Take your time. In the midst of all this, though, how important do you feel a side deck is going to be in the matches to come, especially with these 2 Pandoras?
Oh, Pandora, Dark, and Light are very tricky in general. If you see someone signing them, you don't know which one's going to be. So, let's say if you think it's Pandora Dark and they dropped your whole field, like if they were playing like Blazer Knights, if they're playing against Blazer Knights and they think you're signing Pandora Dark for some whatever reason, you just flip over Pandora of Lights and they cry. They'll probably just scoop to you immediately.
So it's like an actual legitimate mind game.
Yes, it is legitimately a mind game. And then I'd probably side in... I was thinking about siding in Bloody Moons. Bloody Moon destroys special stones. It gives +2/+2 to werewolves. But that's irrelevant unless I side like Lucaru or something. If this is mainly for a control matchup. So let's say if I was playing against control reflect, refrain. God damn it.
It's quite alright.
If I was playing against control, I would just side in 3 of these. Because with Lumia as well, you could keep banishing. When this gets banished, you can just play it again, and just keep from the exile playing it. So eventually they'll just lose all their stones. So you get rid of Ruler's Memorias, you get rid of the dual lands, you get rid of
Fair's Memoria?
Fair's Memoria.
Depending on the matchup.
Depending on the matchup. I would probably play this in fair against the fairy deck because you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
It's too slow. But against a control matchup, if it's especially against control like Abdul control, I've actually played back when Abdul was a huge thing, Lumia Abdul. I think that was the best format because it was a lot of fun. It was really control heavy. Honestly, Lumia in the later run will most likely win against Abdul unless you got the Silent Law loop on you. Because you just play the Bloody Moon on him and just start killing stones. I'd play a 4th one in a side deck. If you're really playing a really aggressive deck, a 4th one and that in the side would definitely help.
As it's oft said, all you need is kill.
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 Absolutely.
Oh, this card is insane. So for all you don't know, this card is amazing. I would side 2 of that. It kills all the 2-drops, which doesn't really matter to you because you could just replay them all. But against decks like Blizzard Knights, Fairies, this card legitimately just kills the whole deck.
And that's the thing too, because a lot of folks say that if you don't win by turn 3, then typically you're not going to survive. But that's almost acting as though that's like a 0% chance. Like you're never going to live past turn 3. And boy, are they going to come in for a painful surprise once you spin that out turn 4.
I was cited in 4th Scorn of Dark Alice because if you're playing against a control matchup, obviously you want to see your opponent's hand. If you're playing against an aggro matchup, you want to see your opponent's hand and get rid of the aggressive cards like Snow White and Lancelot's. Let's see, what else can I cite in? I'd probably cite, if you're playing against a black deck, I would cite in a 4th Breath of Gods, or even Realm of Pure Spirits. Black is very spell heavy, mana kill heavy, so I'd actually cite in Realm of Pure Spirits against black.
Especially because I take it, it's also because a majority of your monsters, as I've noticed, do not seem to have tap active abilities.
Yes.
Which pretty much makes it impervious unless they decide to block.
Or attack, yes.
Yes, very good.
Which you wouldn't attack until you have lethal, or you just know nothing dies from being blocked. Either one works. You can side in Duel of Truth. I'd actually probably side in 2 Duel of Truth, depending on the matchups. You could target Lumia if you have Joan of Arc out. She takes legitimately 0 damage and kills something for free. You could target Joan of Arc, kill something for free again. Did I mention how free it is to kill things when you have Joan of Arc out?
Yes. You mentioned it quite a few times. And it's very interesting to me too because a lot of the lists I've been seeing, they tend to go more towards the what I'd like to call the chipmunk parade. They're just throwing out a bunch of 1-drops, and with all the 1-drops and the Goibers that they throw in, I almost never see them able to put Joan in as part of their lineup. And especially after playing you today, I know that they are missing out. They are missing out on a lot.
Well, mainly because most lists that play Gwibber aren't mainly focused around a human build like I am. Lumia herself is a human. If they're playing Gwibber, they're not usually playing Lumia. They're mainly like playing Faria. They're playing what's the Musketeers guy's name?
D'Artagnan?
Yeah, D'Artagnan. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, Flames of Outerworld versus Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc wins because it does not trigger, it does not chase, it is a continuous effect. I've had so many people fight me about this ruling before. If you Flames of Outerworld Joan of Arc, feel sad for yourself. Feel sad, because she will laugh at you, and she'll be like, alright, so that's one card, where's the other one?
Absolutely.
I've had people have to do double Flames of Outer World Joan of Arc just to get rid of her, and my god, you feel satisfied when that happens.
Absolutely. So, do you have any parting thoughts?
Not really. Is there any questions?
Well, thus far, I think you've gotten everything pretty straightened out. There's a lot going on here. I really do love seeing all the different interactions here.
Well, actually, wait. I do have one thing.
Okay.
I would honestly also recommend citing Blazer, the Ruler Blazer.
Blazer Gil Ravis?
Yeah, Blazer Gil Ravis, because of decks like Bahamut, Valentino 2.0. You would also have to cite in Death Sights as well. I don't have Death Sights on me, sadly, and I'm also letting someone else borrow my Blazer, so I can't really show that.
Although, in theory, wouldn't since you're meaning Almerius, couldn't you also swap in a few bows and switch out Lumia for
Arla? Yes, I can do that. You can cite into Arla as well. Arla would actually be really good, because you're just citing bows at that point too. That's a lot of side deck now that I think of it.
That is a lot of side deck. You'll have to make some very, very tough decisions. But in the end, if when you are playing competitively, as far as I've heard at the very least, the side deck is something that's very important. It should be different for each person depending on your mode of play,
Yes.
your mode of thought. Force of Will is one of the widest, most varied games I've seen in a long time. And it's great that the side deck is completely overflowing and you're not just stuck to certain specific staples.
Oh, definitely. This game is so young still, but the thing is, right now, the current meta is going to be a huge reflect refrain, which saddens me because I don't get to see the huge. It's like another Baja Blast format. You don't get to see like this huge variety of decks I've seen before.
Yeah.
But easy come, easy go. Shit happens, right?
It is left to us as the players to make up wild things like these just to show folks that there are still things from the old days to be feared.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention about Lumia's ability. You pay 0 to activate her ability. You banish the 3 cards at the top of your deck, put them face down, and you get to see them at any time. You can play them during both players' turn, once per turn. So any instants that are removed for play, you can replay them immediately to go immediately into the discard. If you have Necronomicon, they get banished again. And it's just a really good loop. I don't play Necronomicon in this build because I had a Flames of Mutal Flames, and I'm really scared of Zeeks. Zeeks is still a thing that I don't like to get anymore. Plus, I like still having a hand.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing this young man more soon, and possibly others as we grow older together. Thanks again. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we cut off?
Yeah. This is a team effort right now. We have a bunch of teammates. I'm CCG Genesis. I am making my own YouTube channel, not to selflessly promote myself.
But it's okay. Go on ahead.
But I do Let's Plays. I am going to be starting to discuss more about Force Will on my channel most likely while I'm doing my Let's Plays. So feel free to come in, watch my videos. I will probably do discussion videos with Guy and Altaria. It'll be fun. I hope to see everyone there. And hopefully, if you do like this video, please leave a comment. I would love to see your ideas flourish. I do not care if you subscribe,
Oh.
but I would love you to leave comments. Comments help grow. Comments help us decide our futures. It helps us grow in general more than you subscribing to us. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right. You as well. Have a good one, everyone.